root those guys out of there.
They'll send the tight end in motion left. Second down and another run with Edmonds. And some space here. But he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race.
Tackling's broken, though. Broken. Tackling's broken. Doesn't matter what I think.
Chase Edmonds, 73 yards.
Hey guys, how are you? Here we are back in season 2 now, or actually this is our 20th season together. So excited to be back here for week 1 here, getting the new season kicked off. Hope you had a great off season. If not, well, I guess it can't get much worse, right? Unless you're Matt, then you get your players stolen off your practice squad. But Matt, if you do hang out with us here, I do have a special tip at the end of the video for you as well. So hopefully you see this. If not, maybe somebody else beats you to it. So we're going to touch in on some draft notes that we had taken, and we're also going to chip in on just some teams that we felt might do better this second season here coming up. I think season 2 presents a lot of new challenges for everybody. You've learned some stuff. You've seen some stuff now in the playoffs of season 1, and it's going to be who can make those changes, apply them, as well as EA changes the algorithm all the time. So keeping up with those changes as well. So first thing we wanted to talk a little bit more about is the draft. John, what do you got first for us?
Oh, well, it was definitely an interesting draft, right? And by the way, nice backdrop. So congratulations from everybody for you. So, and we've never done it this way. This was kind of a big change for us, and definitely made it a little different. But we definitely had some teams that had some really strong drafts. I know we talked, the 49ers had a very strong draft, so that was pretty good for them. I think the Patriots, aside from the fact that they need booster seats, had a really nice draft. So I think that was another team that did really well there. Anybody stand out to you specifically, Phil, when you were looking through it?
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the first person in the draft. The Texans did a late trade to get the first round pick from Washington, and he picked up a safety here. His name is Demarius Williams. He's an 82 overall. He ranked out elite at everything, so I certainly understand him trading up to get him. 92 speed, 95 acceleration. Hidden development, so that's another added bonus for him. And overall, the Texans just had a great offseason, as I expect them to do. And you can see all the gray hairs that bastard's put on my chin already. And it was just kind of a unique playoff run for us, and we're happy we were able to pull it off there at the end. But definitely the Texans stood out. As you mentioned, the Patriots, to me, I'm going to call it, won the draft. They just landed a ton of great players all across the board, including a hidden development quarterback with 92 speed all across his 5 rookie wide receivers. You got 96 speed, 96 speed, 95 speed, 94 speed, great cornerbacks, great linebackers. Definitely we'll touch more on Bailey in a second, but to me, Patriots won the draft. Vikings really stood out as well. A great quarterback by the name of Chris Tate. We'll see how quickly John puts him in there, starting over Baker Mayfield, but 86 speed, 91 acceleration for him. Great linebacker as well, Lloyd Jackson. 86 speed, 91 XL. So you got the Vikings creeping up there. God bless Riley and everything he's got going on. He picked up a great halfback, a great wide receiver, a couple of great cornerbacks. So Seattle looking to make some noise. And I thought the Chargers had a decent draft, halfway decent as well. So John, I think you touched on some oversized players that some people picked up.
Yeah, absolutely. So I always kind of like to look for the oddities here. So, we had Ohio State sent the Chiefs, the fattest guy in the draft, 345 pounds, So he's a right guard, so they can probably use that. So don't try to run on the right side once he gets in the lineup, but he's probably a little work in progress. And on the flip side, again, I was picking on Bailey the other day because he has a fast group, that is for sure, but he's also there. He must be trying to emulate the Thornton draft pick because 172 pounds in the NFL, that guy might blow away. So that's pretty lightweight guy. But you're right. The speed was definitely the thing. We had a lot of speed in this draft. I mean, a ton. We're talking over 90s, not even including 90. We had 48 players that came in. So the league is definitely getting faster. For sure. We had a 99 speed go to the Falcons. So once Marty figures out where he's going to use that guy, Calvin Posey is his name. So he was the 7th pick in the draft, super fast. And then had a couple, like Ray needs the help in the 5th round. Ray grabbed the 97 speed guy. The only thing is that guy's dumb as a box of rocks. He's got a 48 awareness. So Ray will probably have to make sure he's running in the right direction all the time. The Super Bowl winners, those guys, like, they need help. Picked up a 97 speed guy out of Kentucky, Philip Foster. So, I mean, just that 4 guys that were 97 or better. And then, of course, the Dolphins, because we didn't have any speed in our wide receiving room. So we picked up in the 3rd round, 31st pick in the 3rd round, a young guy by the name of Randall Allen. He's 97 speed too. So like I said, lots and lots of stuff. And then you go into the 96 speed category, you see the Patriots again twice with 2 more wide receivers, and the Browns picked up a guy out of Notre Dame. So his awareness is a 60 because he went to Notre Dame. So
well, and I think, honestly, if I'm Ray, I think he's going to probably user that guy until he gets his awareness up, if he starts him and puts him in there. And we already saw, I think this morning, the Jags and the Bucks kicked off, and I think it was the 2nd drive. Ray paused it and took out his quarterback and put in his backup and made some adjustments real quick on his depth chart there, and was able to pull out the win against a tough Jags team. Injury ratings for anybody? Any of those small guys have low injury ratings? Because, I mean, if they're that skinny, I imagine just one hit probably is going to take one of those boys out.
Break a collarbone, like we saw in New England this preseason. Really, we had a lot of guys on the flip side that had really good ratings. In fact, your wide receiver in Baltimore, he's 98, so he can probably take a bullet. One of the cornerbacks I picked up is a 98. So there's quite a few 98s. Conversely, though, man, there's some guys down in the 70s, and unfortunately, it's one of my Dolphins. So my second pick of the 2nd round free safety, he's pretty strong, and he's pretty fast at 92 speed, but he's only a 78 injury rating. So good thing I got safeties coming out the wazoo, because apparently this guy will probably spend some time on the IR, I would say. But yeah, quite a few, just as many as we had at 98, we have at 78. So there's probably about 15 at each end of the spectrum. So the biggest ones to stand out was mine, and then the Chiefs, Malcolm Chancellor, he's a middle linebacker. So that's not a great place to have a low injury rating. That was their 2nd round pick. He's a 78 as well. And the Chiefs, I don't know, his scouting department is going to have to pay more attention to that, because also his 1st rounder, the right outside linebacker, Keenan Taylor, he's pretty low as well. So, in fact, you see the Chiefs here quite a few times in that category. So, hit them hard when you play the Chiefs. You'll probably break them.
Interesting. All right, so shifting over to some teams that we expect to have a little bit better season. Maybe that's competing for the playoffs. Maybe that's just beating their record for last year. As always, I try to do John and the AFC East a favor and at least put one loss up on the Bills, and we were able to do that last night. And it was Madden just has a sick sense of humor. I putting me in a playoff game against the Bills, and then we're going to face off week 1 against them. So there was already some hot and contested stuff going on left over probably from the playoffs. And it just doesn't help when you have to play somebody week 1 again. And, they've already seen your scheme and I've seen their scheme. And, it led to maybe some chippy comments in our chat. But, as I said in my chat, the good thing about Madden is there's a way to stop everything. And so, if you're unhappy with something that you're seeing, get in the lab it up, see what you can figure out, and move forward from there. One of the other teams that's undefeated right now, the big Miami Dolphins.
Hey.
We're excited about them, and I think you're going to like the intro video, John. Bailey had his mic on for that 73-yard touchdown, and I don't know if you went back and rewatched it, but Bailey had some good comments in there for you, and so it's always fun to see. I could only wish Tom had his mic on last night.
Maybe not. So absolutely. Well, it's always good. It's always good to take down a previous Super Bowl champion, and so it was a good win for the Dolphins. So we'll see how Bailey could have been drinking. I don't know. So we'll figure it out. But we'll take whatever we can get.
Hey, whatever the excuse is, it's over now, and there's no excuses for a big fat L on your head. So. So other teams, I was really looking at teams that didn't make the playoffs last year that I feel that are going to do better. One of the teams I wanted to touch on was Eagles. He won round 1 of the Giants-Eagles matchup earlier in the season last year, lost round 2. And so he ended up missing the playoffs. He finished at 7-10. But I think had he won that Eagles Giants game late in the season, he would have had the tie break and went to the playoffs. So I think Eagles was also hot on the offseason trades. I believe he traded for a big safety, and I can't recall off the top of my head. Do you recall a safety?
No, I can't recall. I know he went to the Patriots because he hurt me with him.
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick here. So well, at any rate, I'm not sure what he did, but he was in the offseason making some moves. So Eagles was one of the ones I had competing for a playoff spot again this year. Eagles and Giants both have this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing where once they're playing hot, I mean, they're really tough to stop and can beat anybody, including myself or Ray, or I've seen it happen. So Eagles is one that I think this year, if he can stay more on the Mr. Hyde side, that he'll compete for a playoff spot again. I did have Bailey written down. He went 5-9 last season. He's got a Super Bowl trophy by his name, so I gotta imagine that he'll make the adjustments that need to be made and figure it out sooner or later of what needs to happen. So Bailey was another one that I had contending and doing some things. And then I wrote down the Vikings and John. He was 8-9. God knows how tough that NFC North is already with Connor in there. You got the Bears who went to the Super Bowl. You got John. And then I think the number 1 offense in the league is Lions. So if he can figure out his defense, I mean, that's just a powerhouse division. So every game is just important in there. But again, to me, John's just a proven user that can turn some things around and do some things once he figures a few things out for the addition.
I think, it was Savage is who you were thinking about, wasn't it, for the Eagles?
Maybe that's what it was. Somebody traded a huge pick. I mean, it was big. I mean, it was a blockbuster deal.
He's got Gardner Johnson and Savage, both good safeties. So
that's who it was. It was Savage. Yeah, he made a huge trade for Savage. Which, look, I mean, what is he? 95 speed or acceleration or something. I mean, it was definitely somebody that can get to the ball, and knowing how he plays, that's going to be good for him.
In fact, he's 95 speed and 94 acceleration. So either way you slice it, and he had a good draft too. I mean, I think his lowest rookie is 67, but the majority of his were all in the 70s. So he definitely helped the cause for sure. And I think the Patriots, he's just got a lot of new faces and new places. So he just had to figure it out. And I got a couple lucky breaks, for sure in that game. So, my big 74-yard TD run was, just good timing and a couple of clicks off. I think he missed a tackle, and that sometimes is the difference. So, and yeah, John's just in a tough division, but he's definitely, I think, one of our more elite users. I think he was just I think he figured it out towards the end of the year, but at the beginning of last season, he was trying to do Madden 21 or Madden 22 and deep ball central, and most of them were turning into picks, but he figured it out towards the end of the season, so he'll be back.
Yep, and then somebody else who's making a lot of noise is Tommy, the Washington Commanders GM. He's told me several times how he's going to apply himself and be back for this season, so we'll see if Tommy can turn it around. He did get the win in week 1. I forget who it was against, but
It was the Colts. No, he might be.
The Colts. I don't remember, but it was a close game, back and forth. Tommy was up big, and then whoever he was playing came back big. I can look it up real quick. So
Yeah, I'm looking too.
it was the Cardinals. Anthony and the Cardinals is who he was playing, and our Anthony came all the way back. I think tied it or took the lead, but then at the end, Tommy took a field goal and ended up winning that. So, you know, if Tommy says he's back, I have no doubt that he will be. So that's one. You got Riley sneaking up as the Seahawks. I haven't seen him in a while, but you know, when I do see Riley play, he's usually playing pretty good and pretty hard and giving it all he has. So he's somebody that could make some noise. We'll kind of to be determined is what I'll list that one at. And those are my favorites, at least for improvements or, you know, doing some things. You know, I'd like to see Jake get in there, but Jake is with the Jets. I mean, I just, I don't know with those Jets, man. They're a tough team and they need so much. And I just, you know, there's only so much you can do with the Jets.
Right. Well, and you know, that was something we talked about before we got on air, is that, you know, what I'm seeing is, I mean, the league is just so much more competitive. Even the lowly Dolphins, I mean, we typically will hang on for at least the first half. And, you know, we pulled out a win this week. And we're seeing that in a lot of these games, even the games that the final score might be 35-21, but for 3 quarters, it was probably 21-14. I mean, it was a 1-score game in a lot of these games. So we've got great competition here. And like you say, Rowley's back. You know, he says what everybody says. Everybody that comes back says, oh, I haven't played in a year, I'll be bad. And then they start killing people. So we'll see how that goes. And, you know, we've got a new user down in Jags, and he was giving Ray a handful for the first, 2/3 of that game. So still get some unknowns, but yeah, definitely. There's a lot of these that you look at and it's almost too close to call, so almost too close to call.
Hey, and that's why my favorite expression, at least for our league in Madden, is better lucky than good. You need some of that luck sometimes, all the times, to make it happen, especially when the games are so tight and tough. One of the things I learned in my division late in the year after playing, Steelers, Bengals, and Browns is the second time I played them. They definitely figured some stuff out and figured me out enough that I had to make some adjustments on my end. In fact, Steelers ended up putting a loss on me late in the season last year, which was good because that made me push a little bit harder when I was really kind of getting complacent. I would say, just kind of, okay, here's where I'm at, but really made me dive deep, especially getting into the playoffs. And Matt, if you're still with us, the bonus tip for you, Connor has a hidden development on his practice squad. So first one to it and light them up. Smoke them if you got them. And that's it. That's show number 1 of the new season. Awesome.
All right. Well, great to see everybody again. Let's have some fun this season. Now I gotta find the button.